The first warnings arrived as fragments, distorted telemetry, flickering comms, drifting shadows beyond the lunar horizon. At first, Earth's defense stations believed it was debris from the Perseid expansion corridor. Then the shadows multiplied, formed patterns, and locked into a formation too deliberate to be anything but hostile intent. By the time the Vorkin Dominion Armada emerged fully from phase-shift space, the blue day over Earth dimmed as if a cosmic curtain had been drawn. Thousands of alien warships layered themselves across orbit, blotting out constellations, reshaping the night with harsh geometry and metallic glare. Commander Aaron Siver watched the siege unfold from the bridge of the Ghostfall, docked inside the partially cloaked Aegis 9 defense ring. His crew stood silent, listening to the distant hum of systems adjusting to emergency mode. Aaron preferred silence in moments like this, not out of fear, but clarity. Panic clouded judgment. Quiet sharpened it. Count is now at 1,200 confirmed vessels, reported Mirakael, his tactical officer. Dominion signatures match all profiles. No attempts at communication. They're closing siege vectors. Aaron folded his arms. They don't negotiate. They announce. As if on cue, every screen flickered. A towering alien figure materialized, Overlord Zarkut, encased in ornate obsidian armor, eyes glowing with cold satisfaction. Behind him, the Dominion symbol pulsed, a crimson helix surrounding a devouring maw. Humans, Zarkut began, his voice distorted by layered translators. You stand in violation of Dominion expansion rights. This world is hereby claimed for integration. You will comply. Resistance is mathematically irrelevant. The transmission cut abruptly. Mathematically irrelevant, Mira muttered. Charming. Aaron suppressed a grim smile. Alien arrogance wasn't new, but the Dominion perfected it. 50 years ago, during early contact skirmishes, Aaron lost his sister to a Vorkin probing raid. Their cold calculus had always underestimated human instinct. It still did. Status on phase silent systems? Aaron asked. Elrod, the ship's engineer, checked diagnostics. Stable. Full cloak integrity. Aegis 9 remains undetected. Their sensor lattice doesn't register us. Good, Aaron said. Because once they start orbital bombardment, we won't have a second chance. Earth's global channels flickered with distress calls, cities bracing for shockwaves, government commands rallying defense grids, civilians rushing to underground sanctuaries. The Dominion had executed the same tactic on dozens of frontier worlds: isolate, suffocate, consume. But humanity had prepared for this day. Aaron opened a secured channel. Task Force Eclipse, confirm readiness. One by one, voices from invisible ships responded, calm and steady. These were the best crews Earth had, pilots trained to maneuver blind, engineers capable of guiding ships through silent space, operators who live for the razor's edge between life and annihilation. Phase-silent technology had taken 3 decades to perfect. Humanity kept it hidden behind layers of misinformation. Even now, Dominion sensors swept Earth's orbit without detecting the 30 stealth cruisers and 5 phantom carriers waiting like coiled predators beneath the enemy fleet. Commander, Mira said, Dominion data frequencies are cycling. They're mapping orbital defenses. Then we'll give them nothing to map. Aegis 9 dimmed further, drawing its energy signature into the cloak. From outside, it resembled a faint distortion against Earth's curve, too subtle for alien scans. Aaron stepped closer to the viewport. The Dominion ships appeared like an iron storm front, massive, interconnected by luminous tendrils. Their flagship, the Titan of Zarkut, resembled a floating fortress of layered plates and energy spires. Their positioning for entanglement bombardment, Mira warned. If they fire, our atmospheric shield nets won't hold. They won't fire, Aaron said. Not until Zarkut confirms our surrender or incompetence. He wants a clean conquest, not a scorched resource. You sound confident, Mira said. I understand tyrants. They prefer theatrics before brutality. Aaron activated the fleet's silent maneuvering protocol. Thrusters whispered beneath the deck as Ghostfall disengaged from Aegis 9. One by one, the stealth cruisers slipped into the void, arranging themselves beneath the Dominion formation. A new feed appeared, Dominion patrol routes. Aaron studied them quickly. The enemy relied on overlapping sensor cones, leaving narrow blind corridors between patrol drifts. Most species would never attempt to navigate those gaps. Humans did. Plot route to Vector 7, Aaron ordered. The Ghostfall glided along the darkened path, hull temperature dropping to match surrounding space. They passed within a breath's distance of a Dominion scout, a sleek vessel adorned with luminous tendrils pulsing with scanning waves. The face-silent field swallowed every trace of the human ship. "Still with us?" Mira whispered, barely audible. Aaron kept his eyes on the shifting patrol arcs. "If they detect us, we'll know pretty quickly." Minutes stretched into taut silence. Eventually, the Dominion formation passed, unaware of the shadow brushing their flanks. Elrod exhaled. "Remind me to thank the face-silent team when this is over." "You can buy them a planet," Mira said. "If we're still here." Aaron interrupted gently, "We'll be here. But only if we figure out what the Dominion is hiding." Their ship reached a vantage point above the Titan's outer spine. From here, they could tap into unshielded Dominion frequencies. Mira initiated the infiltration algorithms. Alien glyphs cascaded across the screens, command chains, fleet hierarchies, firing cycles, reactor signatures. And then they found it, a critical flaw. The Titan's command network depended on a single exposed relay node, a narrow conduit linking the Overlord's control lattice to the entire fleet. Disable that relay, and the Dominion formation would lose coordination. Not permanently, but long enough for Earth to strike. "Aaron," Mira said, voice tightening, "I think this is our chance." Aaron's pulse steadied. "Mark the node. Prepare for extraction." As they pulled back, a Dominion scout veered unexpectedly, cutting into their return path. A glancing pulse of energy brushed the cloak, causing the deck to shudder. Alarms flared. "Phase integrity dropping." Elrod shouted. Aaron acted instantly. "Reduce reactor output." "No thrust. Drift only." The Ghostfall went dark, coasting silently past the scout like a dead fragment of debris. The Dominion vessel paused, scanning, its tendrils tightening as if sniffing the void. Seconds dragged. Then it drifted away. Cloak stabilized. Mira exhaled shakily. That was too close. Aaron returned to his command seat. "It won't matter soon. We have what we need." A distant tremor rippled through the hull, the first atmospheric bombardment shot warming in the Titan's core. "Time's up," Aaron murmured. Earth's sky flickered under the growing glow. He turned to his crew, expression firm. "Prepare phase-silent strike protocols. First blood belongs to us." The Ghostfall sank back toward Earth's shadow, unseen, carrying the spark of humanity's answer. The first Dominion bombardment flashed across Earth's upper atmosphere with a violet tremor, scattering ionized trails like lightning trapped in a dome. It didn't strike the surface, yet, but the warning was unmistakable. The aliens were calibrating their weapons. When they fired again, it would be real. Commander Aaron Siver stood at the center of the Ghostfall's bridge, watching the luminous arcs ripple over Earth's curve. Every second the Dominion lingered meant more pressure on the cities below. Panic spread quickly across continents, despite government attempts to steady the global feeds. Miracale scanned updated reports. Shield nets in Asia and the Pacific are holding. Europe's grid is strained but online. Evac teams are moving people underground. "Any word from the resistance cells?" Aaron asked. "Coordinated," she said. "They're handling civilian routes and intercepting Dominion probes. Not flawless, but better than anything we had during the Frontier Wars." Aaron nodded. Back then, humanity had been scattered and inexperienced. Now, unity was survival. Elrod approached with a datapad. "Repairs from our brush with that scout are complete. Cloak integrity is stable again." He hesitated. But it won't take another hit like that. We won't give them the chance, Aaron replied. The crew had already assembled around the strategic table. The Titan's schematics hovered above it, captured from the stolen Dominion data feed they intercepted earlier. A pulsating red mark indicated the exposed relay node at the heart of the command lattice. This is our target, Aaron said. The Dominion uses this node to synchronize every ship in the Armada. Break the link, and their coordination collapses. You're certain it'll be enough? Elrod asked. It won't end the siege, Aaron admitted. But it will fracture their formation. Give Earth time to strike. Mira zoomed the projection closer. The relay sits behind 3 shield layers and a rotating guard corridor. Traditional infiltration would be suicide. That's why we aren't using tradition, Aaron said. The bridge lights dimmed as Aaron activated the mission plan. Small-face silent dropships drifted around the hologram, slipping through sensor cones and maneuvering past patrol routes. We approach from their blind hemisphere. The ghost fall brings us in. Then we board, disable the corridor's quantum shutters, and plant a disruption charge. When it detonates, the relay's entanglement field collapses. Silence settled over the crew. Finally Mira asked, "What are the odds of making it out after detonation?" Aaron met her gaze. "Better if we don't think about it." She sighed. "Then let's move." Task Force Eclipse engaged silent microdrives as the Dominion Armada continued its methods of intimidation. Long beams of violet energy crackled across orbit, deliberately missing Earth by narrow margins, an attempt to demonstrate control. Zarkut wanted humanity nervous, unsteady, afraid to think. He didn't realize fear sharpened humans, not weakened them. The ghost fall drifted beneath the chaotic glow, slipping through the shadowed region behind a dense cluster of Dominion carriers. Mira steered with precise bursts, each adjustment minor enough to avoid disturbing their cloak. "There," Aaron said softly. The Titan's lower ridge extended like a gleaming continent of metal plates and rotating spires. Energy coils radiated along its spine, interwoven with pulsing conduits that carried commands across the Armada. "This is too close," Elrod murmured. "Exactly where we need to be," Aaron replied. The docking clamps released. Aaron and the infiltration team boarded the small-face silent dropship, its hull matte black and cold. Mira sealed the hatch behind them. "I'll keep the ghost fall circling," she said over the comm. "If sensors change, you'll hear from me. If they don't, still assume trouble." "Understood." The dropship disengaged and coasted toward the Titan. No engines. No lights. Every system remained dormant except minimal navigation. Dominion scanning pulses swept the hull above them, but the stealth field bent the waves around the craft, letting it pass like dust in moonlight. As they neared the Titan, Aaron saw Dominion architecture up close. Layered plates curved like overlapping teeth. Runes crawled across the surface, glowing as power surged through conduits thicker than city pillars. The docking latch connected with a faint click. "Boarding successful," whispered Sergeant Halden. Aaron led the team through the circular hatch. They emerged into a dim corridor pulsing with blue light. Dominion ships used zero-gravity interior chambers to allow three-dimensional troop movement, giving the corridors a disorienting verticality. Aaron anchored his boots to the mag-line strip running down the spine. "No alarms," Halden noted. "Move quickly," Aaron said. They progressed through the corridor, silent except for the faint hum of alien energy grids. Twice they froze as Dominion guards drifted nearby, towering, armored beings with glistening carapaces. Their respirators clicked rhythmically, almost insect-like. Aaron signaled his team to remain still. The guards floated past without pause. Aaron exhaled slowly once they cleared the patrol zone. The relay chamber is 2 decks up. They ascended using the magnetic grips. At the final hatch, Aaron paused. A shimmering curtain blocked the view beyond, a quantum shutter field, oscillating at a pace too rapid for the naked eye. "Halden, you're up." Halden pulled a compact disruptor from his pack. The device activated silently, emitting a pulse that fluttered through the shutter field. For a moment, the curtain rippled, then split open. Aaron and his team passed through. The relay chamber glowed with a pale gold light. In the center floated the relay spine, a slender conduit linking the Titan to every Dominion ship. Threads of energy coursed through it like rivers of electricity. Elrod's voice came through the comm in a whisper. "Commander, readings confirm it. One relay. Entire fleet." Aaron placed the disruption charge at the base of the conduit. The device latched onto the metal, lights blinking in a steady rhythm. "Charge armed," he said. A sudden deep vibration resonated through the chamber. Myra's voice cut sharply into the comm. "Aaron, Dominion scans are shifting. They're sweeping blind spots. Something spooked them." "Extracting now," Aaron responded. But before they reached the shutter field, gravity fluctuated violently. Dominion alarms echoed through the hall, vibrating the metal. Red symbols flashed across the walls. "They've detected an anomaly," Halden said. Aaron pushed forward. They crossed the shutter's threshold just as it sealed again, trapping flickers of light behind them. The team climbed back down the corridor, racing toward the dropship. Dominion guards emerged from an intersecting passage. Aaron fired an EMP dart, knocking them limp. No time to hide the bodies. "Go!" Aaron ordered. They reached the dropship. It detached and shot downward in a silent glide, re-engaging its stealth field just as Dominion search beams swept the hull. "Prepare for explosion," Aaron said. The disruption charge detonated. A brilliant flash expanded inside the Titan's core. The relay spine fractured. Energy chains rippled outward, collapsing in a cascade of shorted currents. Across the Armada, Dominion ships wavered, lights flickering, formations drifting, weapons stuttering. On the bridge, Zarkut erupted into a roar of disbelief. "Find them. Humans cannot be this precise." Aaron smirked at the chaos spreading through the fleet. "Extraction complete," Mira said. But the Titan's firing blindly. A dozen wild blasts erupted from the flagship, illuminating space. One grazed the dropship. Alarms shrieked. The hull spun violently. Aaron grabbed the console. "Brace!" The dropship tumbled toward the shadows near Jupiter, cloak flickering. The last thing Aaron saw before losing line of sight was the Titan collapsing into disarray, its once perfect formation unraveling like a broken chain. And humanity finally had a window to strike back. The dropship jolted violently as it spun into Jupiter's shadow, alarms strobing across the cramped interior. Commander Aaron Siver braced one arm against the console while gripping the restraints with the other. The hull groaned as though struck by a Titan's hand. "Stabilizers failing," Sergeant Halden called out, breath clipped. "Cloak flickering, if they track us again, we're dead." Aaron forced the interface back online. Half the systems were redlined, but the thrusters responded with faint pulses. "Keep the vector steady. Don't fight the spin, ride it." The dropship tilted, completing another slow rotation before settling into a less violent drift. The cloak sputtered twice, then finally held. The Dominion's blind barrage continued behind them, bright streaks carving through the dark as the Titan fired wild, confused by its own fractured command network. Myra's voice crackled through the comm, thick with static. "Aaron, confirm you're alive." "More or less," he replied. "Status of the Ghost Fall?" "Intact. We're tracking your descent. I'm sending a stabilizer lock." A magnetic tether shot from the Ghost Fall's hull, locking onto the dropship with a metallic snap. Slowly, it reeled them in, pulling them out of the gravitational dip. Once aboard, med teams rushed forward, but Aaron brushed them aside. "I'll get checked after we finish this," he said, stepping onto the bridge. Myra's expression darkened as she pointed to the tactical display. The Armada's still disoriented, but they're recovering faster than expected. Zarkut is forcing manual overrides. Dominion vessels, once perfectly synchronized, drifted unevenly across orbit like fractured glass. But the enemy was adapting. They were reorganizing their lines, shifting into a wide sweep pattern around Earth. They're preparing a unified bombardment, Mira warned. Aaron studied the board. How long? Minutes. Maybe less. He stood silent, letting the weight settle. Their strike had bought time, but not enough to end the siege. Earth's defense grids couldn't withstand a concentrated strike from 1,000 alien warships. A new transmission flashed across the upper monitor. Admiral Lorne, commanding the Coalition's planetary response teams, appeared surrounded by the Earth Defense Council. His uniform was crisp, but exhaustion lined his face. Commander Siver, Lorne said, your attack disrupted half their command structures. That window is closing. We must act. Aaron nodded. I'm ready. What's the plan? Lorne's tone hardened. Operation Backlash is active. Phase-silent fleets are moving to target crippled Dominion ships across all quadrants. Earth's ground defenses will intercept any bombardment that slips past. Your task is to eliminate the Titan. Mira stiffened. Sir, with respect, the Titan is still at full power. Its main reactor is exposed, yes, but it's defended by an unbroken set of hull spires. That exposure won't last, Lorne said. We cannot let the Armada realign. If we neutralize Zarkut's flagship, their chain of authority collapses. Aaron understood. Taking down the Titan meant ending the siege, and it meant doing something irreversible. The Admiral's gaze sharpened. Aaron. The decision is yours. But Earth needs a guaranteed end, not another delay. The transmission cut. Silence rolled across the bridge. Halden glanced at Aaron. What are you thinking? Aaron looked at the Titan displayed in the hologram, its core glowing faintly where the command relay used to be. A wound. A chance. If we breach their spire defenses, we can overload the exposed reactor, Mira said slowly. But we'd need a ship to hit it directly, before they close the plating. Aaron exhaled once. A quiet, steady release. The Ghostfall has phase-silent drives calibrated to micron precision. And we don't need weapons. Just velocity. Myra's eyes widened. You're suggesting a collision. A controlled one, Aaron said. Straight through the open lattice. Hit the core before they seal it. Halden frowned. We wouldn't survive that. No, Aaron said. We wouldn't. The words hung like suspended weight. Elrod stepped forward. Then we go with you. Aaron shook his head. No. I'll take the ship alone. Mira straightened her shoulders. Absolutely not. You won't fly into that core with a skeleton crew, you're not leaving us behind. This isn't a debate, Aaron said. It's my decision. Mira met his gaze with quiet resolve. And it's our lives. We choose what they're worth. Halden nodded. We've followed you through everything. We finish this together. Aaron felt a tightness form in his chest, loyalty, fierce and unyielding. For a moment, he saw his sister's face again, that same stubborn fire. All right, he said quietly. Then we finish it together. The Ghostfall angled toward the Titan, cloak shimmering as the ship accelerated. Dominion vessels, still disoriented, failed to detect their approach. Energy beams flashed across space, but none aimed at the stealth ship gliding through the rising storm. Mira guided the ship between drifting Dominion cruisers, weaving a path through the debris cloud that surrounded the flagship. Sparks from disabled alien vessels lit the darkness like floating embers. A once mighty armada looked fractured, shaken by a species it considered inconsequential. As they drew closer, the Titan's reactor glow intensified, an exposed heart beating erratically. Dominion engineers scrambled along the plating, trying to restore the shields before humanity struck again. Speed at 90%, Mira reported. Hull strain increasing. Keep climbing, Aaron said. We need full momentum. Through the viewport, the Titan's central chamber expanded into a massive cavern of armored conduits and rotating plates. No ship had ever attempted entry, no one had needed to. The Dominion relied on fear, not impenetrability. Halden secured the final harness. Impact corridor plotted. Energy pulses fired wildly around them as the Titan attempted to compensate for the broken relay. The blasts illuminated the hull spires like skeletal towers wrapped in lightning. Aaron keyed the final command. All hands, brace. The ghost fall broke through the first perimeter. The phase-silent cloak flickered, then fell away entirely as they entered the gravitational pull of the exposed core. Warning sirens blared. Dominion sensors snapped onto them instantly. Human vessel detected, a guttural voice echoed across an open channel. Zarkut's fury crackled through the speakers. You dare pierce the heart of my flagship? Aaron answered calmly. You should have checked your statistics. The Titan unleashed a concentrated volley, but the ghost fall was already inside the spire lattice, weaving through a maze of conduits with decreasing space to maneuver. Mira whispered, this is it. Aaron's hands tightened on the controls. For Earth. The core's radiance expanded before them, white-hot energy spiraling like a star trapped in metal. They aimed straight into its center. Zarkut shouted, stop them. Stop. His voice cut off as the ghost fall struck. The reactor erupted in a blinding sphere of light. A shockwave tore through the Titan, splitting hull spires and obliterating command decks. The flagship buckled inward, collapsing under its own power. Dominion ships across the Armada faltered, their links severed permanently. On Earth, millions watched the sky brighten as the Titan fractured into a cascade of falling embers. The Armada broke formation. Surviving ships fled into deep space, abandoning the siege they were certain they'd win. Earth had endured. Later, as dawn stretched across the recovering world, Admiral Lorne stood before the global broadcast array. His voice carried a steady weight. Earth did not bend. Earth did not break. And when the darkness closed in, humanity stood together. In the quiet that followed, he added softly. And in silent retribution, we prevailed. The world mourned its fallen. And remembered its defenders. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, not through submission, but through defiance. And everywhere, people whispered the same truth. Global dawn returned in fractured waves. The ash of orbital wreckage streaked the morning sky, glowing faintly before burning away. For the first time in days, people stepped out of bunkers, blinking into sunlight instead of alarm lights. Earth lived, scarred, shaken, but undeniably alive. Yet the victory rang hollow for those who knew the cost. In the central command spire of Aegis 9, Admiral Lorne moved slowly through the operations deck. Screens displayed the scattered remnants of the Dominion Armada drifting away like bruised shadows. Engineers and officers worked quietly, their relief subdued by the knowledge of the sacrifice that made this dawn possible. When the doors to the war room opened, a hush rolled across the space. Miracale stood at the threshold, uniform scorched, eyes swollen from lack of sleep. Though she had escaped the ghost fall only because Aaron insisted she lead the phase-silent fallback fleet, the guilt clung to her like a weight she couldn't shake. Commander Kale, Lorne greeted gently. You should be resting. She ignored that. Any chance of debris recovery? The Admiral paused. Teams are still scanning the Titan's wreckage. But the core explosion was absolute. I'm sorry. Myra's jaw clenched. She nodded once and approached the wide viewport. Below, Earth rotated peacefully. A deceptive calm, one built on the wreckage of thousands of alien warships and the sacrifice of Aaron Siver. Halden joined her, arm bandaged, face pale. Hard to believe it's over. It doesn't feel like over, Mira murmured. He studied the drifting fragments of the Titan. I keep expecting to see his ship come flying back out of that mess. He knew what he was doing, she said quietly. He didn't hesitate. Halden gave a faint, bitter laugh. He never did. Mira rested her palm on the glass, as if trying to touch the void where the ghost fall vanished. The silence between them wasn't heavy, just real. What now? She asked. That, came a deep voice, is what we must decide carefully. Admiral Lorne stepped toward them, carrying a datapad that displayed an encrypted communique. This arrived an hour ago, he said. from the Valari Alliance. Mira frowned. We've barely exchanged 5 messages with them in 20 years. And yet they sent this. The Admiral handed her the pad. The message was brief but potent. The Dominion's collapse has destabilized 2 sectors. Several species are calling an emergency summit. They want Earth present. Mira looked up. Why us? Halden answered before Lorne could. Because word travels fast. We took down the Dominion's flagship. No one's ever managed that. And that's exactly why we need to tread carefully, Lorne added. Victory attracts attention. Allies and predators. Mira absorbed the implications. Earth had moved from prey to unpredictable power overnight. A dangerous shift in galactic perception. What do you need from me? She asked. Lorne studied her expression. Aaron trusted you to lead when he couldn't. I need that leadership now. She inhaled slowly. What's the mission? You'll carry Earth's voice to the summit, he said. We need to show strength without provoking fear. If we appear reckless, the smaller nations will panic. If we appear weak, the predators will circle. Halden crossed his arms. And if we do nothing? Then the galaxy shapes itself without us, Lorne said. And we might not like the result. The Admiral turned toward the tactical displays. Finish repairs on the Spectre wing. You'll depart within 48 hours. Mira nodded, though her thoughts drifted again to Aaron. He would have understood the balance, caution paired with resolve. As she headed for the exit, Lorne called after her. Kale. She paused. The victory is his. The future is ours to build. Later, aboard the temporary orbital memorial dome, families, soldiers, and civilians gathered to honor those lost in the siege. The structure floated against starlight, quiet and reverent. Candles flickered inside transparent capsules, drifting gently around the curved chamber. Mira stepped inside, her breath catching at the sight of thousands of glowing lights suspended like soft constellations. Names hovered above each one. So many lives. A small crowd parted as she approached the central pillar. Aaron's name pulsed faintly in silver text, surrounded by soft blue light. She touched the pillar with the tip of her fingers. You gave us a chance, she whispered. Now we have to be worthy of it. A voice approached. He'd say we were wasting time if we stood around mourning. Mira turned. Elrod stood behind her, face still streaked with engine soot. His attempt at humor lacked the usual spark, but the effort mattered. He would, Mira replied. Elrod exhaled. I came to tell you the Spectre wing is flight ready. Engineers doubled the whole reinforcement this time. They said it felt right, like they owed him. Mira bowed her head. Thank them. Elrod hesitated. You think he'd approve of this summit mission? He'd tell me to stop asking what he'd think. Mira managed a faint smile. And then he'd give advice anyway. What advice? She looked at the floating capsules. Don't let fear decide the next battle. 2 days later, the launch bay buzzed with controlled urgency. The Spectre wing, Earth's newest phase-silent command vessel, glowed with fresh alloy plating and polished panels. A ship meant for diplomacy and defense both. Mira boarded with Halden, Elrod, and a hand-picked crew. Every step felt weighted with purpose. As she reached the bridge, she paused before taking her seat. The chair looked too familiar, same design as the Ghostfall, the same worn fabric pattern near the armrest. She placed her palm on the console. Take us out. Thrusters hummed softly as the ship drifted from the hangar into open space. Earth's vibrant blue sphere receded behind them. Halden monitored the feeds. Transmission from the Defense Council. Put it through, Mira said. Admiral Lorne's voice filled the bridge. Commander Kale, you carry more than diplomatic credentials today. You carry proof of humanity's resolve. Show the galaxy who we are, not as conquerors, but as a people who refused annihilation. Acknowledged, Mira said. We'll represent Earth with clarity. As the channel closed, Halden adjusted the course. Summit coordinates locked. Estimated arrival, 40 hours. Mira leaned back, letting the hum of the engines settle her thoughts. The stars ahead stretched like a path inviting them forward. For the first time since the siege, she felt a quiet determination instead of dread. Elrod glanced her way. "You ready for this?" "No," she said honestly. "But Earth is." The Spectre wing engaged the phase-silent drive. Space folded around them, turning the stars into elongated glimmers. Before the tunnel of light consumed the view, Mira whispered to the quiet, almost as if Aaron could hear it. "We're not done. You showed them who we are. Now we'll show them what comes next." The ship vanished into the corridor of warped starlight, leaving Earth behind, no longer a silent world under siege, but a rising power stepping into a galaxy that had finally learned humanity's name. And this time, the galaxy was listening.